Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Your brother Najib here. Today we're back with another episode right here on Deen. But today it's a little bit of a different case here. We are here today. This morning I woke up and I got a message and some info and a little bit of update, as I am not up to date as much as I'd like to be. A little bit busy and with studies with a lot of different things. But hey, I got an update saying that about a situation here, a family named the Abdullahi family. That's a family on social media. And I woke up and I got some serious messages. Did a little bit of research. I had to handle some other things first. And then I came to find out that this is a little bit serious. Very, very serious situation here. And so let us take a look at it and see what we got going on. We got the Abdullah family, and we're going to be talking about social media and atheism and how all that could relate to one another. This is a family that is on social media, and we're going to get to know them pretty well here, and we're going to kind of, there's been some serious heavy things that have been happening, and a lot of people have been making extremely tough accusations. And some serious things happened. And so I know the situation is a little bit very, very sensitive. There are major lessons to learn from this situation. Major. And so what we're going to do is right here is go through some of the key fundamental principles and in understanding the situation here and kind of understanding what happened and what not. And so let us get into it. I want to make this really, really quick and really fast. This is Deen Love. Your brother's always trying to bring you the best of dunya and the best of al-akhirah. Let's move forward. Who is the Abdullah family? Like we said earlier, quickly, just a little bit of brief. I know most of you guys have an idea of who they are. And if you don't, that's actually a good thing. That is a good thing. Yeah, I don't know them much. I know for sure that they're a family on social media. Which shares almost everything about their family life, kind of, right? Or the things they want people to see, I guess. They seem religious to everyone, and so they seem really cool people, I guess, right? You got a Niqabi sister here, Abdullah. I think, I don't know her name, but I think we're going to find out what her name is soon. And this brother, I came to find out his name is Hasanat. And they look both like a religious family, as you can tell. Brother looking fresh, sister looking fresh. And they seem like, meaning fresh, I mean like religious people. And that's, I think, what most people kind of took away from them, even if they don't follow them or not. But things kind of went downhill, and I kind of want to go fast because the key of the presentation is coming up, and I want us to take away some of the really, the usul, the foundations of why we need to benefit from when things like this happen. It's really, really important to understand kind of the deeper end of things. I'm not going to do the what some people have already done, and I'm going to tell you why I'm not doing what they have done. So this family here, they're big on social media. They use social media to get donations. The brother provides ruqya services, I believe, which is reciting Quran on people who are sick with jinn and the likes, and evil eye, and al-ayn, and so on and so forth. So there are some abuse allegations between the family members. Hasanat being accused, this was huge. This was, I don't know the family much. As you guys know, Brother Najib is not really big on social media. I'm barely ever on there. But Hasanat being accused of being an atheist or having agnostic feelings. And this is major. I thought this was really, really major. So the first thing that happened was there was abuse allegations towards some charity collection and some money they collected from their social media accounts. And then afterwards, things just kind of went downhill from that point on forward. And the big question is, where's the money? Is Hasanat agnostic? Is he an atheist? What are all the abuse allegations? What is it? Where are they coming from? What's happening? I mean, there's just so much there's lack of clarity in the situation. Whoa, the mic fell. There's lack of clarity in the situation, and that's what we want to do, is kind of just understand the deeper end of things. I'm not going to tell you what you've heard from other people already. I'm going to try to give us here kind of the deeper look of things. And what I mean by that is, let's get into the presentation. Subhanallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us istiqamah in the deen, which is steadfastness. Let's move forward. So there's a lot of unclear matters. I want to really move fast and keep this short. So Abdullah, let me go back here on the screen. So things kind of went downhill. Family got involved. A lot of different things happened. I don't know complete honest of the situation, and I don't want to talk about their kind of personal kind of situations. I want to talk about the deeper things and a little bit of info that we kind of need to know in order to understand the situation. All right, let's go back here. So let's look here. We're going to start from here. Abdullah, her name is Roxana. She is the longest standing wife of Hasanat and the closest to him. Okay. There's a sister named Sarah who's a co-wife and has been married for several months. Both Roxana and Sarah accept that they have been living a double life during their marriage to Hasanat. One that is Islamic, which is, showed on social media, and another has been hidden out of sight, even from their family. It is not until recently that their families have become aware of such hidden behaviors. As a result, their families they got involved out of love and are in the midst of dealing with the aftermath. By their own admission, meaning the sisters, these young women have been subjected to a horrendous level of emotional, religious, mental, and physical abuse. It is only known that they are not with Hasanat, it is only now that they are not with Hasanat that they are slowly coming to a realization. Prior to this, both were in a state of shock. It is my understanding that there are other women who have been subjected to the abuse of the individual. Okay, a lot of problems with that. One, we're only hearing the side of Abdullah's family. That's one thing. Nothing about what's Hasanat and his family and his situation. We don't know anything so far. And then at the end, he says that it is my understanding that there are other women who have been subjected to the abuse of this individual. We need evidence. Okay, let's move on. Next, they finish the info that was provided from the official statement here. Okay, none of what is being said now is to justify any actions that were immoral, but rather to provide some explanation of what has gone on. I have tried my best to include the major issues that concerns the welfare and safety of those involved in the community. Okay, sounds good. On the authority of Roxana and with verification from her family who were present, were told in no uncertain terms or ambiguity that Hasanat in fact has been an agnostic, and that this is the explanation for all of his behavior. Wow, that is heavy. In other words, Hasanat has been portraying to the world that he is Muslim, when in fact he has on several occasions, both in private and in front of people, denounced himself from Islam and has actively forced his wives and other individuals into leaving Islam and or to commit acts which are sinful, immoral, and dangerous. These are not mere accusations. His actions have been verified by witness accounts from whoa. Let's go back. From her brother, father, and other family members. Okay. Obviously, if this is true, it will have major effect on the marriage, of course. Okay. So that's, I think, a little bit of update of kind of the situation and what's happening with the family at this point. There are many points that shall be addressed by the family in the near future without the help of this individual. Moinul Abu Hamza. Okay, let's bring it back. So there are major accusations. Supposedly, brother Hasanat, let's go back here, has been abusing the family, has become an atheist, and was forcing his family members to become also atheists. So that's kind of the general picture of what happened. We have not heard from Hasanat yet in any way possible, and it is a little bit tough to kind of, a lot of people reached major conclusions about Hasanat, and we have not heard anything from him yet. So it's really good to be patient and to kind of wait things out and kind of hear both sides. One of the best things, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inna Allah ya'muru bil adl. Allah commands us to be fair and to be just. And so it's good that we hear from all different angles, see kind of what the situation is, what happened, why did it happen, where did it come from, and to kind of hear from all angles. We haven't heard from Hasanat and his family, and calling somebody an atheist or saying that he's agnostic, basically becoming a kafir, is a big situation. But all of that was not really, this is where we were heading. Now the reality is the damage of social media is unreal, which the foundation is you're constantly impressing the creation, other human beings. And that's obviously, it contradicts the foundation of being a Muslim. one who submits to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and is always in constant remembrance of his or her creator. And that is really kind of the main purpose of the mu'min, and what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be rewarding. And the safest way to always have istiqamah is always to be in the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What social media does is it damages one's relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because you're doing the opposite of what you're supposed to be doing, which is you're constantly impressing the creation. Also, like the statement mentioned that was written by the person who was speaking for Abdullah and her family, acknowledged or realized, said that there was a double standard, a munafiq lifestyle in which a person is really kind of forced to, if you're active on social media, the reality is that you're not going to be sharing the reality of life. You're going to be sharing the best of the best, which contradicts a lot of the moral sense of life. There's also damage towards losing oneself, and you kind of lose your identity, who you are, your vision, your goals, your priorities. And obviously a major one for social media and the damage that it brings is a waste of time. But beyond this is the exposure to what is coming, which will explain kind of a lot of the my conclusions is from this slide right here. And I want to make sure that with every choice that we make in life, there are major consequences. Abdullah has been exposing her family, and both obviously Hasenat and her have been exposing their family to the world with their kids and them in doing different things, doing things that probably nobody should see, only them and between their family members, and no one else from the outside should be seen. Because the reality is, the world, there's a lot of bad people out there, people who are filled with things that are really harmful to others. Exposure, what does social media do? Is it exposes one to al-ayn, the evil eye. And a lot of people are filled with evil. And when you give them the chance to look at the beauty that you have, they will cause you to be really sick. They will cause you to throw the ayn, the evil eye, on you, which is mainly caused by jealousy. A lot of people might look at Abdullah and Hasenat family, or have looked at them as people who were religious, living the best life. She probably has the best husband. He probably has the best wife. And all these different types of thoughts and opinions, and to take away from all the quote unquote the empty pictures, but very, very beautiful, right? Which all lead to hasad, right? Some people have good hearts and they'll say mashallah, so on and so forth. But but a lot of people out there don't have good hearts, and they don't have good intentions, and they don't wish good for you. And so you're exposing yourself to these people, and in return, what happens? The ayn is truth. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and from the Quran and the Sunnah, we understand that the ayn is something very, very powerful. When you give people the chance to glamour and to be jealous of the beauty that you have, and they're not people that are deen oriented, the ayn is something extremely powerful that will get you. So the reality is, the mu'min is supposed to be on guard from the waswas, from the doubts, from the whispers of the shayateen, from the evil eye, from jealousy, from hasad, from envy, so on and so forth. And if that guard is let down, then, and from the greatest guards obviously for the mu'min is the du'as, and saying your daily du'as and adhkar is probably one of the greatest weapons to protect yourself from all of those things. So what really needs to be done is that if somebody doesn't protect themselves from such harm, there's a possibility that they will go down, and the jinn and the shayateen will take advantage of that person. So the question is Hasenat really agnostic? Is Hasenat really agnostic, or is he sick? Let me tell you why I say that. The reason why I say that is because there's an equation here that I put together. Number one, they have been constantly impressing the creation. Two, the double standard, living a munafiq lifestyle. If you add that with the possibility of ayn, an evil eye, the hazard that comes from people, and what Haseena does is that he fights the jinn. He does ruqya services, right? Or is it possible that a jinn took over his body and that he's suffering and he's actually facing a lot of trauma and he's losing oneself? So is it possible that all of these things put together have caused Haseena to becoming agnostic or an atheist? Now I want us to really think about this. This is probably the most important slide of the presentation. And there's really some depth that really went into this, as you can see. This was not a one-day thing. This had to be an effort that has been put together for a long time, a lifestyle that has been happening for a long time. And every action that we take has major consequences, right? When you're constantly impressing the creation, it'll cause you to forget the creator by default. The double standard of living a munafiq lifestyle, you have a social media lifestyle, and then you have another lifestyle. And then on top of that, putting the beauty of life and the good things that you have of life, family, friends, kids, so on and so forth, towards the world and sharing it on social media with a lot of people out there who don't have a lot of good hearts. What do you think is going to happen? I mean, the chances of an evil eye is extremely high. And because of due to hasad, a lot of people don't have clean hearts. And on top of that, it's quoted that Brother Hasenat, he is in the field of ruqya, which is he's constantly fighting the jinn, which possibly if he doesn't do his daily adhkar and if he doesn't stay away from the ma'asi and the dhunub and the committing sins, possibly imagine the amount of since he let his guard down, possibly would that mean that a jinn can easily take over his body, right? That's easily understandable. Did all this add up to become for him to be agnostic, if this what is being said is true? So is Haseena agnostic or is he sick? That I don't know. We're gonna have to wait on Haseena and what he really has to say about the situation. A lot of people already called him out and said a lot of different things, and I saw some text messages as well, but we need some real evidence. And I'm not defending Haseena, but what I don't want is, because of the social media situation, we don't want to be taking major steps that could really backfire. What if Haseena comes out today and says that I'm sick and I'm suffering and I have trauma and I'm going through this and this is all due to the exposure of social media? Easily, I mean, this could easily happen. But the situation is obviously really complex. But there's a lot to learn from. Whoa, let's go back up here. One of the greatest things that we have to really honestly learn from this situation is you never put your life on social media. This, I have to say, probably the most important thing from this whole situation is that one should never ever put your life on social media. Don't. Me, myself, a little bit of personal reflection, right? Since we're talking about the lives of people. I was not on social media for almost 7 years. And this is like prime time of like being a young person, right? For a long time, I was not on social media. And when I was on social media, I just opened it up for da'wah purposes and for Deen love and for things like that. Never on social media for 7 years. Just due to the fact that if you're on social media, the likelihood of you really making any progress towards life could be really affected. That's the reality. You see most people wasting their time on social media, just in this process of just impressing other people, doing things that are really, really malayani. And some people are even exposing their sins on social media, subhanAllah. Imagine the worst people are the people who actually, right, have a shortcoming. They're doing haram. And then guess what? They're taking their phones and they're recording it and putting it on social media. Subhanallah. I mean, that has to be on another level of things, wallah. Okay, let's go back here and see what the next thing that we can learn is. Never trust anyone on social media. This is obviously huge. This is really some of the key takeaways. That the point of this was not to talk about Abdullah and her family and what happened between them, but the reality is kind of what we really need to be taken away, which is never trust anyone on social media. You just can't. Don't do it. The reality is you don't know this person. They're putting out the best of themselves, that's not realistic. That's just not real. It's just, I hate to break it to people, but that's just not real. It's not real. And so we got to take away, you got to be, in the back of your mind, you got to be like, this is, anything you see on social media, 20% true, 80% not true. Don't fall for empty, beautiful pictures. Pictures are so deceiving. Don't let them get to you. We got to keep it going. This is the most important thing. Don't take role models / Deen from social media, except from people who you see are following Deen, and the day they stop, you stop following them. The day they stop practicing Deen, I guess the sensitive part here is that if you don't know what Deen looks like and you don't have kind of a basic knowledge of what Deen is, then I understand. Then maybe you shouldn't be taking Deen from anybody on social media. But if you have some level of understanding of Deen and you're on social media, by default, you shouldn't be following anybody and considering them as a role model. That's just naive, and the world just doesn't work like that. These are artificial things. You don't really know who's behind the camera. It's just not worth it. And definitely you don't take your Deen. I have a criteria for people who I take Deen from. If that person doesn't meet that, I just automatic. You know what I mean? It's just automatic for me that I don't consider them a role model or a person that I would take Deen from. And so, but when you're constantly watching these people, yes, they will have trace on you without even knowing it. That's also another danger that you really got to be careful for. But these are the key main takeaways. But a lot of people, when these type of things happen, they don't, look at these people honestly. They don't take the situation and learn from what they're supposed to learn. Look at what some of these people said from some of the comments that they left behind from the whole situation. This person said, I covered their name for good reason. Kind of sad, but look what this person said. Thank God we don't listen to these fake Muslims. Okay, gosh, this is exactly what I was talking about. Hijab, quote unquote, is not a real thing, but the heart is what God judges. Subhanallah, right? Subhanallah. Look at what that sister said, yeah? Exactly what I was talking about. Hijab is not a real thing, but the heart is what God judges. Look how this individual took to understand the situation of Abdullah family. I guess the problem was the hijab, right? But guess what? Somebody actually replied back to that person, which, mashallah, I gave her a check right away, because this person said, whoa, you are right, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't wear hijab, and her actions don't represent hijab or make wearing it wrong. Hijab is still something that Allah ordered. It's still an obligation that we submit to. Definitely, mashallah, whoever wrote that, that's great. May Allah reward you. This person is really intelligent. They understand kind of a deeper end of the process of blaming, basically. You know what I mean? Even though some people, they just want to scapegoat, and any way they can scapegoat out of something, they'll do it. Check this out. This person said, thank you so much for educating me. I will run away from people that wear thobes and that act religious. You made the religion look like those African spiritual leaders that lies about everything. What's next? Haseena asks you to do sihr. Look at that statement right there. This is not what you're supposed to learn away from the situation. Does that mean everybody who wears the qamis is a kha'in, that we shouldn't trust them, that we should be away from? Subhanallah. This is just a sad generalization of, and there isn't any intelligence within that comment. Let's look at what some other people took away from the situation here. Definitely a big X. Okay, this person said using Islam for your own selfish desires is surely wrong and not tolerated in Islam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide you all to the right path. I'm so heartbroken to know that people will even use Islam to misguide people. Okay, this person was probably knows these people pretty good, and is judging the situation by what they have heard so far. And so, okay, look at what this person said. This is about a Muslim fake couple. living in UK who were using social media to ask people for donations, and they claimed to be running a ruqya service, taking jinns out. They were always putting videos on social media. The wife wore full niqab, always showing how much her husband loved her, like hugging. She had a friend called Sarah. A few days ago, it was announced that Sarah is the man's second wife. Still not a problem, but now it has been found that the niqabi lady was leading a double life. Okay, whoa, accusations. This is probably why this ex became on here. Different account name of Zahra with no hijab. Also, their ruqya service was fake. Their charity collection was fake. They took money from people. Police is investigating. And worst thing, the husband who recited Quran is agnostic, meaning he is doubtful, not really a Muslim, but he pretended to get donations. Now people know, and the two wives have left social media and claim to be suffering from depression. And the husband is also silent. These people have been fooling others for many years. Okay, then you get an X because I guess this person has a deep kind of understanding of the situation and they have an okay understanding of what to do, but some of the accusations are a little bit tough and they need some level of evidence. It's hard to make those type of accusations against the people without having evidence. Did somebody get double checks? We are certainly living in the time that the Prophet ﷺ warned us from. Fitna, lies, deception, and mischief will be everywhere like raindrops. I don't believe or heed anyone, neither Brother Haseena nor his wives. It's heartbreaking that this couple had been portraying the life which they weren't really living. My friendly advice to everyone, please don't make social media personalities your role models. Our role models are the Prophet ﷺ and his wives. May Allah protect us from the mischief. This person gets the double checks because mashallah, a good advice, a general understanding of the situation, and no greater accusations of things. This was okay. I guess this kind of deserved it, but you kind of see how people have kind of really immature understandings of things and some mediocres, and this person really kind of took the situation from the most proper way of how to kind of understand these social media I guess you can say drama, and if it's drama and things that are happening here. To conclude, in conclusion, I was trying to keep this really short. I went a little bit too fast, but the greatest conclusion is learn the Deen and be the primary person of your Deen. This could not be more important than ever in the day that we live in. You guys and everybody needs to learn the Deen. And put time into learning the Deen so that you can be the primary person of your Deen, and you can understand between the kha'in and the, you can tell the truth between what is truth and what is not. You can tell the difference between what is good and what is not. And so have the best of dunya and the best of al-akhirah. Surround yourself with good people. This is among the greatest. This is the advice that I give to people, and it's from the greatest of tools of surviving in life, always being in the right situation. So when you surround yourself with good people, I mean, you need people. People are always going to be part of your life. So when you surround yourself with good people, they're going to encourage you and have good influence on you. And that's probably sometimes the most important thing. Don't waste time. Social media and all these type of things, they lead to a waste of time. What you need to do is really be productive. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, life is time and time is life. You want to really take advantage of life in the time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, and always make dua that Allah keeps your heart firm on the Deen. This is al-istiqamah, firmness on the Deen, and being steadfast on the Deen is probably the most important thing in life, because it might take 1 second or 1 day or 1 moment that you put yourself in the wrong situation for your heart to be shaken. So you want to make sure that at all times you're doing everything you can do to always make sure that you are keeping yourself in the right situation. I always tell people you're in control of yourself as long as you're in the right situation. The minute you're in the wrong situation, you are not in control no more. So definitely make dua and always ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep your heart firm and on the Deen. So that's that, a little bit of kind of a deep analysis on the situation, and I hope you guys can take some of that advice. And what we really need to do is just kind of, when these type of things happen, and this is not the first nor will it be the last, what you always got to do is make sure that you're looking at things from a really deep angle. 2, you don't make quick accusations. 3, you put yourself in always a good situation and protect yourself from things like this. Don't ever expose yourself to the world. Watch out for the evil eye, watch out for hasad, watch out for people who don't have good hearts, and don't share the beauties and the ni'mah that Allah has given you to other people. Just don't do it. It's just not wise. It's not from the sunnah. It's not from the etiquettes of the deen that you're always showing your ni'mah to people. Hey, look what I got. Hey, look what I got. And taking pictures with, I mean, I don't know. This is a big topic. We'll save it for another day. But the double standard of life on social media, the constantly pleasing other people, the exposing yourself to and the ni'mah that Allah has given you to the world, these things will cause harm. That is by default. Whether one likes it or not, these things put together will cause harm. And it is what it is. And today we're seeing a great, this level of harm is like, subhanAllah, this is as bad as it gets. And we make dua for the people involved. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hopefully give them a good understanding of the deen and lead them to making better choices. And I'm sure they're going through extremely tough times. So keep these people in your du'as. And if what's being said is true, the truth will come out. A truth will will always never be hidden. And I hope the best for you guys. And make dua for your brother Najib. And until next time, sallallahu wasallam ala nabina wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.
بإسلامي وإيماني أضاء الكون وزمن بإسلامي وإيماني أضاء الكون وزمن